What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must with Label Free. As always, bring you dynamic guests from all over, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is a former pro wrestler, a former critical care registered nurse, an author, entrepreneur, a course creator. He's considered a Renaissance man in a linebacker's body. Please welcome Mark Sias. Did I say that correct?
Good enough.
Good enough? Well, how do
Yeah,
you Sias?
it's Sias, but I'm so used to Sias that it doesn't even occur to me anymore.
You know what? I don't even care either when people say Dina, or I'm like, whatever, I don't really care too much. So that's quite like, talk about living label free, not like really holding on to one thing. So you've got quite the experience. So I guess I'm curious about your stint with pro wrestling.
Yeah, well, I guess I get bored easily. So the pro wrestling is an interesting story. This is while I was nursing, so I kind of squeezed that in on off days. It was twofold. One was my kids were really into this stuff, and so I thought it'd be really cool if they saw their dad wrestling.
Sure.
And the other was, I don't know, I kind of wanted to try it out. I wanted to try my hand at it. I will tell you that it is way harder than it looks on TV.
Oh my God.
It's grueling. So at that particular time, I was probably in the best shape of my life. And I really just wanted to see if I could cut the mustard, see if I could make it through their academy. And I did, but it's difficult. It's grueling. But so that was so the WWE, they have a proving ground in Tampa that was called, at that time, was called Florida Championship Wrestling. They since rebranded and repackaged and everything, but that's what it was back then. And so we used to go there and hang out in Tampa several times a week and wrestle. And I met lots of people that are brand names, today. So I got my photo with them. So
yeah, that's cool. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, right? That's what I say. Like, if you have
basically, no,
just go for it.
no regrets at all. I had fun. I learned a lot. And the process of going through that, obviously you learn a lot about yourself. You learn to push yourself, and you meet neat people, and like I said, ultimately after 6 months or a year or so of it, I was like, it's not really for me. This is a little hard on me.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. How old were? Do you mind me asking how old you were then?
35.
Oh wow! So I feel like your body takes such a beating doing that, even though a lot of it's choreographed, right? It still takes a beating. Are you like gymnastically inclined or tumbling? I don't know. What would you call that? Because it's like,
yeah. So actually, funny that you say that, because before nurse, before paramedic, before any of that stuff, I actually coached gymnastics in like early 20s.
Sure.
And what I used to do was close the gym up, like on a Friday night after everybody left, and I'd hang out there for like an hour and just kind of see what I could do, see what I could learn. Yeah. So, and that paid off in the wrestling ring, but not much elsewhere.
Yeah. My mom always told me I should become a wrestler. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I like to move around. I feel like you're right. You just get so many injuries from doing all that stuff. So talk to us. So are you still a former critical care nurse?
So I still have my nurse's license. Actually, I got my letter from Department of Health telling me to renew it in April. So I still have that license, but I do not do any nursing whatsoever. I have not since 2019.
Yeah. Okay. That's when you started our book with your wife, right? You created a bunch of courses in 2019. And so making you essentially an entrepreneur. So tell us about this course, because I was reading a little bit about it and I'm just curious.
So the short story is we started a notary business, which has done really well and still does really well. And probably initially kind of finding that it was a little rocky road, working out things that worked and didn't work well for a business. And then as it progressed and worked better and better, we found a lot of people wanting to know exactly what we did and how we did it. And we tried to coach them. We tried to maybe work with people and set something up. And we found that it was too time expensive for us. Even if we were charging a lot of money, it just seemed really time expensive to do that. So I basically emptied my brain into Kajabi. um,
Yeah.
so, which was very tedious. And I really didn't even plan. My wife was actually the one behind kind of creating the core coaching. I was perfectly happy with kind of keeping this as my little business baby.
Sure.
And she's like, no, we should give it to the world. You should let people know what we've done and let them, decide if they want to benefit from it or not.
Yeah.
Um, so the book, The Golden Pen, I actually wrote that before we created the course. And I wrote that kind of as a, almost like a download of how I saw our business work and how I saw why it worked like it did. And that was the idea behind that. And then, of course, from there came the digital marketing, digital product that is our course. So
So
that's the short story.
tell us about the notary business, because I've had to get some things notarized. So and that's all online, or how do you help people? What need do you fill?
Great questions. So the short answer, both. We do a lot of in-person in our community, and we're in Central Florida. So we have a lot of people either come right to us or we go to them. So we have an upcharge for a mobile service. We outsource, we subcontract other notaries because our business, basically the way we've positioned ourselves in the web market, we're able to get clientele that we won't even, I would personally drive to. So I do have subcontractors that will go and fulfill those, and then they'll take a percentage of whatever that travel fee is, and then I'll keep the rest. And then we do online. We do remote online notarization. That's what the new book, A Digital Pen, coming out is about, is remote online. I was kind of dismissive in the first book because I don't really like it. It's clunky technology. It's very new. A lot of people don't get it. And so I was very dismissive, like, hey, yeah, it's there, but it's got a lot of work. And over the course of the last year, I thought, well, what would happen? Let's go to every platform there is, every platform that, like, your SaaS company that is doing remote online, and let's investigate them and find out the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
And then I was able to hone that down to, okay, here's how you're going to make money in this. And just don't waste your time with this. So that's the essence of Digital Pen. It's going to be a small book, probably be half the size of our first one, because I'm right to the point with this one. There's no fluff. I'm just going right in and going, if you want to do this business, this is what you need to do.
And is it specifically around the notary business or just SaaS in general?
So the Digital Pen is notary specific. So it's specifically if somebody wanted to get involved in remote online notarization. Now the Golden Pen is kind of about legal services in general and how they tend to have a very high markup for a business. It's very low overhead, very low inventory, very easy to get one off and running. So
Okay. So my fiance is a notary, so we could probably do that, huh?
totally.
Do you find that there's a big demand for it?
Yes, there is. Yep, definitely. And one of the things that I kind of try to drive home is that aside from the demand for the notarization or market positioning to make there more demand, is that you can use notarization as a form of a lead magnet for other services. You get people into your circle of influence where they know, like, and trust you, and find out what else it is that everybody's looking to buy something. So
Yeah, what's the next thing that you can help them with?
yep,
Well, that's very interesting. I've never heard of anything like that. So I've always gone to like the bank or to currency exchange to get stuff notarized. I don't have to go anywhere now because I have my fiance, but like it's such a daunting process to get stuff notarized. So do you guys make that real easy for?
That's the idea. Yes, you nailed it right there. Nailed it. And side note, he won't be able to notarize your stuff when you get married.
Ah, dang it.
You have to find another notary. But yeah, so that's very insightful. There's an inconvenience factor there. There's a time expenditure that comes with these conventional places.
Yeah.
And we try to circumvent that, one, just by being friendly and being readily available, and two, by no wait times or scheduled appointments, so planned. We also able to reach people that can't. They don't have the luxury of going to a bank or a UPS store. And I mean, I don't know if it's been a UPS store recently or not, but it's not really customer service. It's a service, but it's not customer service. So somebody comes to us, it's very warm, it's very welcoming. There's a smile on her face, so that concierge makes it a very good business for repeat customers. We have
Yeah.
repeaters.
I can imagine. So if it's remote and it's online, how does that work? What's that process look like? So anybody's listening, do they have to upload their credentials, or how does that to get that?
Yeah, it's awful.
No, no,
So let's talk about it. So the what happens is there's specific platforms that are allowed by the states. Each state kind of has their own roster, maybe about 8 of them, these platforms. One would be notarized.com. Another one, my favorite one, is called bluenotary.com. Or maybe it's bluenotary.us. I don't know. It's saved in my tab. But so what they would do is the end customer has a couple of choices. One, they could seek a notary who facilitates it through this platform, and then they would kind of walk them through the steps. The other is you can jump on one of these platforms and shop. A lot of times what happens with that is you end up in queue.
Okay.
Meaning you're waiting for somebody. So what happens while you're doing that on the customer end is it's a lot like a Zoom. So it's like
Sure.
this, where you would log into a video software, but the software itself puts the person through what they call a KBA authorization. And that is basically, it's verifying that they actually are that person. Think of it like if you've ever bought, like if you've gotten like an auto loan or whatever, and you're applying online, and when it goes to run your credit, it'll ask you, did you own a 1987
Yeah.
Datsun or whatever? So kind of that kind of thing. And to verify them. And then what you do as the notary, what's neat about it is that, so me here in Florida can notarize something for you. And you're in Chicago, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I could notarize something for you in Chicago, sitting right here in Florida, as long as I'm in Florida.
Oh.
And it's perfectly legit. So you have the leverage of that technology as a notary if you're willing to put yourself out there and market it.
So I'm just like, I think this is fascinating. How'd you come up with this idea?
I don't know. And
Did
so
you have
some of the
did you have a
ideas.
need? Did you have a need for it yourself personally?
So no, here's how I came up with it. Actually, when I first started in business, I had mentioned this briefly, that I found that the notary is great. It's a great lead generation tool.
Sure.
And originally what I was doing was selling insurance. That's actually how I left my nursing job, is I went around and I sold life insurance to everybody who
Okay.
knew me. And then when I ran out of customers, people who knew me, I had a problem.
Yeah.
Um, and so I had to figure out, well, how can I generate leads without spending a lot of money? And
Yeah.
it just kind of popped in my head. Like, well, if you offer these notary services, you're kind of dealing with some of the same clientele that might be interested in that. And I was right. And so that once I had that going, from there was just the curiosity, like, well, how can I build this out more? What else is involved? What other layers are there under this umbrella? And that's where we, flash forward to 2023. So
Ingenious. Very congratulations on that. That's amazing. So what can people find from your courses that you have on Kujabi, right?
yeah,
I always want to
Bobby.
say Kujabi. I don't know why, but I know it's a very popular, or Kajabi. I know it's a very
Yeah,
popular
platform.
platform for people that have create courses, and I've been told I should create courses around some of the stuff that I do. I just don't have the time for it yet. But what could people get for what could people get from like checking out one of your courses?
So good question, dude. So our course, I call it my flagship course, which is
Okay.
Notary Prosperity Academy. That is basically designed to teach somebody. So for less than $1,000, you create a 6-figure income. That's the short story.
Okay.
That you could take this course, which would probably take you about a week to go through it all. You're probably going to go back on some stuff and kind of, redigest it, but you would go through that and you would have the exact process that I did from start to today.
Yeah.
Like what I've done, how I first started it, how I got a listing, where to get a commission, what can you do with it, vendors that I contracted with, email campaigns
Yeah.
drip campaigns that I use, how to get a website. I get the website visible, and literally everything that I know as it pertains to this business, and then
Sure.
the umbrella of services that I offer with it, and what the know-how would be for those two.
That's awesome. And how much is your course?
It is $497 at the moment.
Okay, not bad for to learn all that stuff. Do you have besides your own, a success story from someone that has taken your course that has taken it and ran with it?
Yes, we have a couple of them. We actually have, ironically, another nurse, and she's actually a county over, who left her job as well. So, and that's interesting because she's so close to us. Like, I originally didn't want to teach her because I'm like, you're cutting my turf here, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then I realized that's just kind of a scarcity mentality thing, and just to get rid of that,
There's a lot of business out there for everybody.
Yep. Yep. So, so she's done very well. And then we have a couple of top students. I have another student who's in South Florida who's done very well. He's taken it and ran with it. Like we kind of lay out in the course, like to get, effective local advertising, things that can keep paying once you spend the money. And one of them that I would say to do is like, it's easy to put like a banner on the back of your car, like a vinyl decal. I have a vinyl decal. This guy has vinyl wrap on his car. Really impressive. But again, it's something that advertisement, now you're rolling around with advertisement day in, day out. So, but yeah, we've had several that have done very well, even because we teach these other, I would say like niches within the niche to do. And I think that if you're already an existing notary, there might be some comfort zone to get out of. If we start talking about doing legal documents or we start talking about doing fingerprinting and stuff, it may seem strange and unusual, but I'm finding that they're building them out. They're adding these services to their websites and they're doing very well. So, and like I think I was just talking about this to somebody today, that the testimonials on our page, those are real. They're not the made up. They're actually, those are the real snippets of the emails and stuff we've gotten. So
It's not a big time commitment either, I would think. So just everything that comes in on online, right? And then you just complete it and then send, and it's done.
absolutely. We don't, that's the crazy thing. I don't, in my own personal business, I don't ever work more than 20 hours a week.
Wow.
If I am, it's on other stuff. It's like content creation
Sure.
or it's market research. Your entrepreneur brain never shuts off. But
That doesn't.
of the actual business that I do, 20 hours a week.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. Where can people find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Yeah. Main site is called legal.prepnotary.com. The physical business that we run is called Noble Notary and Legal Document Bearers, and that's the website. Anything that I have that is digital addition from that, you could find it right on that main website. And we're everywhere else. I mean, we've got, I have a YouTube channel. It's called the Notary Ninja Show, where I basically you can see that I'm legit. Like I'm giving you things that you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about when he shows me this stuff. He's clearly, he's an industry expert.
Very cool. What a unique path you've taken. I love it. So, you guys, I'm going to put all the links in the show notes, so don't hesitate to go check him out if you are interested in starting your own notary type business. Sounds like it is a very doable, easy process, and just invest in his course and you will be off to the races. This is the part of the show, Mark, where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Oh, that's good. You got the good ones here. I would say that no matter what it is you want to do in life, I would say that you can do it with baby steps. I think the biggest thing is to decide to do something, even if it was 5 minutes, because then you trick yourself into continuing action. So just start with a baby step.
I love it. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being a guest today. Congratulations on all your success. Good luck with the launch of your new book. So you guys don't hesitate to reach out and check Mark out and buy one of his books as well. So those links will be in the show notes. So thank you very much for being a guest.
Alrighty. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, comment, follow, review, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.